Okay,
I'm gonna turn you around too so you can see where you're talking to today. They're all there. They're kind of spread out, so I don't have them all on one camera, but I promise you they're here. Alright, so guys, we have a treat this evening, Mr. Herb Maloney. He is a friend of mine and a good friend of Southern Union's, because he has been talking to nursing students for how many years? How long have you been doing this? 11 years, and you've been coming to us for about that long.
that's how long I've been talking to nurses,
He goes,
psychiatric nursing classes.
he goes all over the state and talks to students and other disciplines, actually. He talks to police departments, different disciplines about what it's like living with schizophrenia. And Herb is a great example because he's been very successful and he's very candid about his experiences. What we study in class, sometimes we're talking about the folks who are acutely ill or in the hospital, and sometimes we lose sight of the fact that there are many people that live successfully with mental illness. So that's why I love to have Herb come and talk and tell you about his story, but at the same time, he gets therapy from doing this. So this is his treatment, if you will. Isn't that right?
Yes,
Yes, so, he's gonna tell you about his background and growing up and when he was diagnosed, all those great things, and then what he does currently and his activities, that kind of stuff. And then he'll take questions, so if y'all wanna ask him questions, he's very open to that. There are a couple questions he may not answer, and that's okay too, but, I just think it'll be a great experience. So, I'm gonna hit record real quick, Mr. Herb, and then you have the floor. It's sending me a request. I'll have to jump back there on my phone to start the recording, but you can go ahead and have the floor, Herb.
I'm Herb Maloney. I'm 76 years old and I'm a recovering schizophrenic, and I will be the rest of my life probably because I need my medication. How many students in this class?
Recording in progress.
What was that?
It was just telling us it was recording. Sorry, Herb. Go ahead.
How many in this class are non-traditional students?
We've got probably the majority, Herb.
Okay. I've been told I was given lemons and I made lemonade. You can ask questions anytime. You don't have to wait till the end of the talk. A professor in another class told us class you may never have this chance to ask questions of a person that's had a severe mental illness and expect to get answers. So ask questions and don't worry about asking a dumb question. I've already had the dumbest I'll ever have. People don't care what you know until they know you care. Some instructors in other classes wanted to know about, I talked to law enforcement about crisis intervention, and they can be a very tough group, but I tell them two things that if the person in crisis is ranting and raving, don't rant and rave back. And if there's more than one law enforcement or RN or nurse or whatever, only one person talk at a time. You don't know how someone feels, so just be nice. I'm going to give you a little bit of a history. I was diagnosed with schizophrenia in 1972. I was 23 years old. I understand that most people that develop schizophrenia are between 18 and 23, and have heard 17 to 25, but I was 23 in 1972. From 1972 to 79, I had short periods of doing good. I was assigned at vocational rehab at least twice, and I had more than one series of shock treatments. And some students wanted to know what a shock treatment was like. I would get up, not have anything to eat, go to the hospital. They get me ready. They put me to sleep, and they used 2 electrodes to shock me. I would go home and sleep most of the day. I think it's still true, but I understand that shock treatments are used when everything else doesn't work. 1979 to 1994, I had I tried going to school. That was a disaster. My medicine ran its course. We tried Prozac, and I didn't like it. And December 94 to September 96 were very bad. Medication changed a lot. I took an overdose, broke my shoulder, fractured the vertebrae. I've had my left shoulder replaced because of that episode, and I have 2 rods and some fusions and in my back. Nurses are special, grossly underpaid. I can't do anything about the second one, but I would if I could. Nurses have a big warm place in my heart, especially psychiatric nurses. Everything for the last 53 years has not been all doom and gloom, and I think you'll realize that. When I got sick, I was suicidal. I was hearing voices. The voices can be very real, very clear, very persistent. They stay focused. I would try to go in a closet and get away from them, but they never did. Some things about Mom and Daddy that I'll always remember. I never saw them panic. They didn't use cliches like, we'll never live this down, or this is an embarrassment to the family. I would come home frustrated from a job interview, and all Daddy would say is, you don't have to worry. I never asked them directly how they figured out what to do so quickly, but my sister told me this, and this is what I believed. When I got sick, Daddy was working for the Veterans Administration Regional Office rating disabilities, so he knew doctors there. Aunt in Tuscaloosa worked at the VA hospital. She knew doctors there, and she knew people in the School of Education at Alabama. And they got together and started figuring out what do. You'll probably spend more time with the patient than the doctors do. Contrary to popular opinion, your patient can have good ideas. two things I want people to know about the mentally ill: we can be useful and productive, and we do not all live in an institution. I used doctor at UAB for about 10 years, and one of the first things he told me, you need to exercise regular and exercise hard. It's still easy to exercise regular, but it's not as easy to exercise hard. I'm getting back into it. I have some problems with the heart, and I did an ablation, and hopefully that will keep the heart in rhythm for a while. Y'all are running your medication. Your patient needs to take the medicine like they're supposed to till the doctor changes it. I used an allergist here in Montgomery many years ago, and one of his philosophies was you don't change medicine just to change it. I've had a psychiatrist that way. My nurse practitioner is that way. I've been on some psychiatric medicine for almost 29 years. I know how it works and how I feel. I've developed a support system that's very good. I have at least 2 people that say I can call them any time of day, but I haven't had to do it at 2 o'clock in the morning. 2 things that made the process better. It was not hard to accept that I had a mental illness because I didn't like how I felt, and I wanted to get better. And I forgave some people. I don't know who at vocational rehab told me I need to learn daily living skills or survival skills, but I did. And I know this is highly unusual for a schizophrenic, but I've been able to live somewhat successfully by myself for over 19 years. And there's probably 2 reasons for it. Is when Daddy died, I did not want to go to, the next alternative would have been Minnesota, where my sister was, and I thought to myself, I do not think I can live in 50 below weather. Daddy worked for a mental health authority, and the other reason I think I was successful in living myself, I did not want somebody from mental health authority coming to check on me. No matter how insignificant you think something, you tell a patient or that something's going to happen, you should do it, and what's going to happen needs to happen. Structured time is important, if for no other the reason that it's not good to take your first dose of medicine at 6 in the morning and the next day at 11 in the morning. I was a patient at Jackson Hospital several times, and the last time I would have to go to the bathroom, and there was a nurse that I trusted, and we had about 15-minute midnight talk and accomplished a great deal. You'll be the go-between between the counselor, families, and doctors. Treat patients like you would like to be treated, and treat them with respect. I manage my medicine. No, I'll start over. My doctors manage my medicine, and I organize it. And the way I organize it now is I have a tray with 31 days with 4 slots in each thing, and I can make them up 2 or 3 weeks at a time. People with long-term mental illness can and do get better, especially if they get on the right medicine and is willing to stay on them. A doctor can do so much with medication, a counselor can do so much with talk, and the next steps are up to the individual. And I can understand why it's hard steps to take for most people because it involves being around people. When I got out of the hospital at UAB in 1972, I had to go to the dentist. My gums were bleeding profusely. I had to go once a week for about 10 weeks to see if they could clean them. My dentist told me to use 1 part of Clorox and 25 parts of water, and I did. And I'm still proud that I have my gums today. And he told me to use 4,000 milligrams of vitamin C. I was lucky I never developed a taste for beer, wine, or alcohol, or got involved with street drugs. Those 4 things don't mix real well with psychiatric medicines. Sometimes what you don't say is the best. Since 1980, I've been a patient on a psychiatric unit twice, and I think from 1972 to 1979, I was a patient on the psychiatric unit 9 times. Don't look around and say, what did I miss? The most important vitamin is vitamin F. And vitamin F is for friends. A friend is somebody that knows everything about you and still likes you. And if you find a friend going down the street, you better cultivate them. 2 of my doctors say that they think the reason I do as well as I do now is how Mom and Daddy handled it when I first got sick. Mom and Daddy gave me a chance for life in places like the Y and exercise facilities. The people gave me a life. 2 of my counselors at vocational rehab said they had great trouble in getting me into conversation, and I can understand why. 3 things I'm proud of is being able to live myself, working to become somewhat social, and being a good caregiver for Mom and Daddy. Not in the sense that I had to shower them, get them to the bathroom. I got them where they needed to be, when they needed to be. This is my opinion, and in my opinion only. I do not feel like people overcome bipolar or schizophrenia. They learn to live with it, accept it, and adapt to it. Next little bit you may want to write down, and I'll read it through, and you can write it down if you want to, and I'll give you a chance. Living in the past may create depression. Living in the future may create anxiety, and living in the present may create peace. I'll give you a chance to write it down. You need it repeated.
Okay.
Y'all got it?
They got it.
All right. I did a panel discussion several years ago, and a lady that heard me talk said, "You don't seem angry." And I said, "What am I supposed to be angry about?" She said, "Most people with mental illness are not real happy." And I told her being angry just takes up too much energy. Some of the hardest things over the years to deal with was Mom and Daddy had to make deposits to get me in the hospital for a number of years, accepting that I probably wouldn't want to get a job, and dealing with the tiredness that comes with the medication and the schizophrenia. When you send somebody over home, encourage them to find somebody that find something that can take pride in and get some self-satisfaction, and encourage them to exercise, even if it's just starting off walking around the block. But exercise is important. Most days we have a choice whether we're going to have a good day or a bad day. And some things that may cause a bad day is a green apple quick step, or not sleeping well. But most of my bad days comes when I'm having a bad night. And when I get up, if I think about, there's 2 facilities here in Montgomery that take care of severely handicapped children and irreparably disabled children. And I think about that. If that doesn't get me out of a bad day, I'm in a pretty bad pity party. With the medication I'm on, I know how I feel. More violence is done to the mentally ill than the mentally ill does to others. If you can't say something good about someone, it's probably best just not to say anything. When I got sick in 1972, there were 2 state hospitals at Price's and Searcy, and they were warehousing people. And from what I understand, at Bryce's there was 5,000 to 7,500 patients. Ricky White took the state to court that you had a right to treatment in one, and it eventually changed every state in the union. Mental health system, my mother and father were ahead of that time. If you have a patient that doesn't want to take their medicine, there's 2 things you can do. One is if it's just starting out and doesn't want to take it, tell them you might feel better. And somebody that's already taken it and says, "I want to quit," encourage them to wait till you see the doctor. Instead of telling a family or a patient, everything's going to be all right because you don't have a clue, tell them don't give up. Unfortunately, no medicine's going to make you feel good all the time. If it wouldn't have been for Mom and Dad and God, I would have been in and out of Prices on the street and in group homes for 53 years. Mom and Daddy were ahead of the time, and they thought outside of the box. Maybe y'all can help me with understanding what thinking outside of the box is. Questions?
Herb, can you tell us the medicines that you're on right now?
I take Prolixin, which is, and helps with the voices. I take Effexor, which is an antidepressant. I take Artane, which counteracts the side effects of the Prolixin.
So Artane is similar to the benztropine or the cogentin, which I've probably already talked about.
Mr. Herb, you talked about a good support system. So what's your support system? Or who is your support system to help you every day?
Just people I know and people that care about me and people that I trust.
I would like to know how frequently you have to see your mental health provider now, since you've dealt with this for so long.
I see my nurse practitioner for my medication once every 3 months, and I see a licensed social worker once a month. And I know how to get in touch with them if I need to. I've been very blessed over the years.
You wanna tell us about some of your hobbies and the things you enjoy doing?
I enjoy music. I like old country, Willie Whalen, Emmylou Harris, Ronstadt, people like that. I like bluegrass. I like some old rock and roll. I enjoy sports on TV, especially college basketball, but I do not like this transport portal where you can you can go to 5 colleges in 5 years and never have to sit out. And over the years, we were lucky enough to get tickets to 21 men's Final Four, and the last one I went to was in 2019, and my sister died shortly after that, and I just decided I wasn't going to go anymore because she made it real easy on me.
I have a question.
Got a question?
What does a typical day look like for you?
What was the question?
What does the typical day look like for you?
I didn't understand that.
What does the typical day look like for you?
I get up, take my medicine, have something to eat. I'm starting to get back, going to ride the bike. I come home, do laundry or whatever. I have appointments in the afternoon. I'm gonna get back doing my shoulder exercises and my back exercises, and so I like to get those done before noon time, but that doesn't always work. I don't know what I do to stay busy, but I stay busy.
So, Mr. Herb, you still drive?
What?
You still drive?
Yes.
Wow.
He used to drive to campus until he started Zooming. Now he won't come see us. Isn't that right?
You always have meetings in Montgomery, but you never call me to go to lunch.
I think what it is we used to, when our talk, we were always having food that day. We would have our mental health expo, and we'd have food, so he knew there was food is why he would drive up here.
Well, we could have done that, though.
Yes, we could.
We could have done that.
We could have had dinner and you could have come up. Got another question for you.
How many times do you think throughout your process of getting on your correct medication regimen, do you think that your medicine was changed? Like until you found the right regimen, I guess.
I think this is what you want, but it probably took me 6 months to figure out that I needed to take my medicine like I'm supposed to.
How many times have you been put on different medicines before they got the right combination?
It took a little bit of effort. The last time, the psychiatrist told me, that the medicine he put me on was older medicine because he didn't think the newer medicine, the starting dose was high enough. And so I guess I'm on second generation medicine, and I don't know what new medicine there is out there.
Okay. The Prolixin that you take, is that pills or do you get a shot?
I take pills, that probably would give me an injection, but I'm compliant with my medicine.
Yep.
I think that's one of the important things of getting better is to be compliant with your medicine.
I agree.
Can you talk about the side effects of the medicines?
Do you have
Repeat
any,
your question.
do you have any side effects from the medicines, or have you had any side effects from the medicines?
I have a little tremor when I try to eat sometimes. And then way in the past, it was Thorazine. And I think they use Thorazine now for hiccups. But I would not want to have to take Thorazine again because it takes the voices away, but it takes everything else away. But I do think if they wouldn't have had Thorazine when they did, I probably would have been so far down I could have never gotten better.
How do you manage the voices now when you hear them?
They're pretty much garbled or don't come around. But I think if I heard them, I could ignore them because I think now I can tell the difference in the voices in people.
Is that one of the reasons you like music so much? Is that helps?
Probably.
I'm gonna tell on you, okay? I'm gonna tell the
Okay.
So when I call Herb, there's a good chance he's gonna answer the phone and there's gonna be loud music playing. Every time I call, it's like, whoo, so, yeah. Any other questions?
When you were diagnosed, they say he was 25 years old?
33, yeah.
Prior to you being diagnosed, like as a child or a teenager, do you remember having any symptoms that you thought might
No.
have been weird?
No, I was 23.
And it just happened?
Daddy one time told somebody, and I never followed up on it, but he said he thought I was starting to get sick before it got completely out of hand.
Can you talk about your sister and your nephew as well? Cause I think that's important to talk about as well.
Yeah, my sister was diagnosed with bipolar, and she did real well because she had enough sense to take her medicine like she was supposed to. My nephew was diagnosed with bipolar 2, and he does well because he takes his medicine. Schizophrenia apparently skipped a generation in our family.
Do you have friends who also have schizophrenia?
Not that I know of.
Okay, another question, Harvey.
Does stress or anxiety make the voices or your other symptoms more prominent?
Right now, I'm really not bothered by the voices, and I'm in a good routine that I'm just in a good routine right now.
Routines are super important, aren't they? Having a schedule and a routine and
Yes.
staying in it.
Can you talk
I
about,
think having structure is very good.
Yeah.
can you talk about, like what you heard when you were bothered by the voices, or?
To do bad things to myself, but not to others.
Okay.
What would you say is the most difficult part of having schizophrenia?
I think probably dealing with the fact that when I was younger that I wasn't able to get a job.
Makes sense.
Did you have any amnesia from the ECT?
I don't think I have any long-term memory loss, and I don't remember the short-term.
Fair enough. You don't remember if you had memory loss. Is that right?
I guess.
Okay, I think you answered my question. I don't think I've ever asked you that before.
I don't either.
That's one of, they say, is one of the most common side effects of the ECT is memory loss to some degree or another. That's why I was asking. Any other questions for her? We got another question.
Were there any other like symptoms or signs that you would have like prior to the voices getting bad or something happening? Like any other different things that would occur?
Did you hear the
We're
question?
picking. Go ahead.
Was there anything else other than the voices or something that happened prior to the voices? Was there anything else associated when you started getting sick?
I don't think so.
Tell them what you do at Christmas time.
What do I do where?
At Christmas time for the community.
Yeah. In Montgomery, there's, I guess, 3 crisis centers. One is at Cross Bridge, and then Mental Health Authority has 2. And I'll buy poinsettias. Cross Bridge has 3 units, so I buy 9 poinsettias for them. And the Mental Health Authority has 3 crisis intervention centers, and I buy 3 for each one.
Great Christmas cheer. Anybody else have a question? Well, I think you've answered all our questions, Herb. I appreciate you getting on so late. I know this is later than usual. But it's good to hear.
We got on, you want like,
It's later in the day than we usually talk.
if you want me to talk to the day class, I'll be glad to.
I know you will. We'll just have to figure out a time to make that happen.
Okay, I wish you all the best with your programs, and Dr. Shiver will talk to you in a few days.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.
Wow.